Hello and welcome to Hexed Encountered. My name is Joe. Today I'm going to be continuing my American Tank Ace campaign. This will be part 4 of the campaign. And this might be the last entry for a little bit because I do have some other games I want to play, but I am by no means going to abandon this campaign. I am going to play it forward, and I may record from time to time and put up episodes. I don't know if everybody would be interested in seeing every single mission, because it may get repetitive somewhat, to some degree at least. And so, as I said, this one will probably be the last one for the time being, but if you're interested, I'm going to make a special playlist for this game, and I will add any new entries I do for this game to that playlist. So, without further ado here, I want to get right into training for our loader. So we're doing the weapons training for loaders. So that would go in here. Weapons training, roll 3 times with 2d6, 1 time each for gunner, loader, and assistant driver. Each roll of 9 or higher indicates the crewman has weapons aptitude. Place a weapons maintenance -1 marker on the tank display mat, indicating that crewman gets the skill for 1 less experience point. Okay, so the reason I need a new loader is the loader actually had a serious injury when we were killed by the Panther in the previous mission, and therefore is out for 32 weeks with a leg injury. So he essentially will miss, that's going to boil down to about maybe coming back in November of 1944. So that's a ways off, obviously, and we need a replacement loader in the meantime. So I am going to roll my 2d6 here, and we rolled a 4. Well, actually, you have to roll a 9 or higher. That's only one roll, obviously, because we're not rolling for the gunner or the assistant driver. Those guys have already had their roll. So he does not get the weapons maintenance -1 modifier. So having done that, we're going to move right into figuring out what our mission is here. And we rolled a 12. A 12 is a refit. Okay, so we're going to take our refit. I'll write it down in here. Okay, so now we're actually moving to July. Now, you can see here on this chart that we have this attack with a 1 after it in red. If we get that, then we will be part of the St. Lo operation, which gives you an experience point if you actually complete it successfully. So we're pretty close to getting an experience point anyway, just from the number of missions played. But we're going to roll again. Now we are in July of 44, and we can actually possibly upgrade to a better tank as well this month. So I rolled a 10 this time, which is an attack. So before I do this next mission, I'm actually going to upgrade my tank. As you can see here on my crew status board, I have 3 prestige points down here that I can pay to get a new tank, and it'll cost me 2. Well, theoretically, it could only cost me 1 because I'm coming out of a refit and my previous tank was destroyed. So, but I'll play it that it's going to cost me 2. So that'll give me 1 remaining. This up here is my permanent prestige level, which maxes out at 5. But you can use your prestige points to upgrade your tank model. So I am going to upgrade my tank model to a brand new M4 A176. So just for comparison's sake here, you can see this is the old tank, this is the new tank. The main difference is the gun. This tank has a 76 millimeter gun. The base M4 has a 75 millimeter. You can see the firepower here is a 7 as opposed to a 6 on the old one. That is the main difference. You also have a smoke mortar on the M4A1, and you do not have one on the M4. So those are the 2 main differences. You can see available July of 1944. Aside from that, they're pretty similar. So we're going to, I'm going to load up all my counters and everything on here for my ammunition, and we'll get started. Well, we'll get started with rolling for the enemy composition and so on and so forth. Okay, so here you can see we've got the tank basically set up. I might not actually go into combat in this particular configuration right now. I have high explosive loaded, full ready rack for the armor piercing, high explosive, our smoke, and our Willie Pete machine gun. I put smoke markers in for the mortar here. Everything kind of shifted down when I moved this. So this is the tank is set up. Everybody's open. Now, once I draw my opposition, I might change that. Actually, I'll probably change it right now. Well, yeah, I'm going to button up my driver and my assistant driver. We'll let the commander go in open, and then I'll button him up if I need to. Otherwise, I'll just leave this here. We'll say this is my starting thing. It's an attack, so this means the Germans will actually get to go first. So that being the case, maybe I will button up my commander as well. So first we'll roll for weather. So we're still in the June to October column here. And we're rolling 2d6. And we rolled a 6 and a 4, I believe. Yeah, 6 and 4. So that's a 10. So our weather is clear. So that's good. Now let's flip this over and we'll do the terrain. 1d6. And it's a 6, which is open. So we've got open terrain and clear weather, which means we're not going to have any weather effects or terrain effects in this mission. So we've got clear weather. We've got open terrain. Attack. Mission is attack. Okay, so at open, we're going to start at long range. And now we need to draw our opposition. So, draw that right here. Okay, so first we roll in this column here, 2d6. Rolled a 7, that's 1 anti-tank, 2 infantry. So for our anti-tank gun, we're going to roll 1d10 right here. And this is something I've screwed up in the past and rolled 2d6s instead of the 1d10. And we rolled a 10. So we rolled a 10. And the 10 in the anti-tank gun column is an 8.8 centimeter PaK 43. So we've got an 88 millimeter gun. That's a big boy. That's trouble. And we also have 2 infantry. So let's roll for our infantry. We'll roll down here on our quality chart. It's a 1d6 roll. We rolled a 3. That is just typical Wehrmacht, regular run-of-the-mill troops. Okay, so I have my 3 units here. We have our PaK 43 and our 2 Wehrmacht infantry with the default morale of 4. So we need to roll for their what location they're in, and you can see setup 1, 2, setup 3, 4, setup 5, 6. So we roll 1d6, 4. So that's here. So we'll put our anti-tank gun right in the middle. And we got a 3, which is also right here. So that's 1 infantry there as well. And the third roll is also a 3. So everybody's in B. Everybody's in B. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is determine the enemy targeting. So we roll 1d6 for each unit to determine if it targets our tank. So I'm going to roll the white and the black for this first one, and it'll be the 2 infantry units, essentially, that I'm rolling for. And I did roll a 1 and a 6. So one of these infantry is going to target my tank here in turn 1. I'll roll the black for the anti-tank gun, and it rolled a 2. All right, so basically because we're at long range, it doesn't matter that the Wehrmacht infantry targeted me because they can't shoot at me. They're too far away. Okay, so I didn't do this when we started, but in an attack, the infantry starts dug in. and they will also have a counterattack at the end of the mission. So since they've completed their mission, we now move to my my actions. So I have 2 actions, just like I always do. Now we're at long distance here, or long range. So if I were to attack, so what if you attack from long range? I guess it doesn't matter. The range doesn't matter when you're attacking, or unless you're attacking. It only affects penetration essentially. So we have high explosive loaded. So I'm glad I actually loaded that because that makes this a little bit easier. So we are going to fire our high explosive at the anti-tank gun to see if we can kill that. So that obviously is not dug in. Infantry is the only thing that can be dug in. So we're going to try to hit this anti-tank gun. And we do have a -1 modifier for our gunner who has a gunnery skill. So we are facing them. We do have our turret facing in the correct direction. We don't really need to do anything else but fire our gun. So we are going to be firing on the B2 chart here. The B2 chart. I'm hesitant to lay this down, but this is it right here. The modifiers are over here. We get a -1 for the gunnery skill. None of this stuff applies. So we are going to fire. We roll 2 die, 2d6. We rolled an 8. We come over here on the chart. We roll 8. -1 is an S for suppressed. So we suppress them. We'll put a suppression on them. And now we're going to fire at them again with a -2 this time because it's the previous target and we already fired at them once. And we also have our gunnery -1. So same thing, we roll 2d6. This time we rolled a 9, which now goes to an 8, which is another suppression. So a second suppression against an anti-tank gun has no effect. So they are suppressed at least, because that impacts their ability to fire back at me, which is a good thing. So now we have to do our event check. So here's our B9 event check chart. So we're going to roll 2d6. We rolled a 9, which is destroy 1 random German infantry. So that's helpful. So we'll take this guy out. All right. That worked. That was nice. So once that's done, we're at the end of the combat round. So we're just going to move to the next round here. And this time the Germans do not get to go first. So essentially we get a back-to-back turn, which is coming in handy here because I'm going to actually attack this anti-tank gun again. So I'm not going to move or anything. I'm just going to try and kill this guy from long range. So we have now used 2 of our 5 essentially high explosive rounds. We have 2 left on the ready rack here. So after this turn, next turn I'll have to reload it. So we have 1 in the gun and 2 in the rack. So this time I rolled another 9, which becomes actually it's a -2. So it becomes a 7, but that's still not any use to us because that's a suppression result. We need to roll a 5 or less. So that's another round expended. And we're down to 1 in the gun, 1 in the rack. Hopefully this one rolls lower than with a -2, we have to roll a 7 or less. And we rolled a 6. So we rolled a 6. That will destroy the gun. That is going to end our turn. So now it is the German turn. We're down to 1 HE round in our gun and nothing in the rack. So we will have to reload because armor piercing is not going to have a role in this particular mission since... Oh, wait. Actually, I believe according to the rules, if all other units are destroyed and there's only 1 infantry left, they retreat. Yes, according to rule 7.26, if the infantry becomes the last unit, they basically bug out and retreat. So we have successfully completed the mission, but now there is a chance that they will counterattack. Okay, so for the counterattack, we roll 1d6. If we roll a 6, they counterattack. We rolled a 1. So no counterattack, and that means the mission is over. Now we go to our trophy collection here for post-battle, which is on here. The chart W1 for war trophies. So we're going to roll 2d6. And we rolled a 6, which is a German helmet with a trade value of 1. So I'll add that to my collection to go along with my MP 3840. And that will end this mission. Okay, so that is going to do it. As you can see here, I've updated my crew status. We're still a staff sergeant. We can go for promotion at the end of July, so that's 7 more mission slots. I just completed my 4th mission because I'm not counting refits, of which I've had 3 now. So 1 more mission and I will get my Army Commendation Medal, which I believe comes with another prestige point, I think. And then that would give me 4. The max is 5. I still have my rabbit's foot that I drew in a previous mission. I've got my 2 war trophies here. My driver and gunner have 1 skill upgrade apiece. And as you can see, actually my experience I think I need to raise because I've had a 2nd success. So I believe that becomes a 2. But I need to check that to confirm. But I believe that to be the case. Anyway, I'm going to wrap it up now. My name is Joe. This is Hexton. This has been Hexton Encountered. It also is Hexton Encountered. I guess I could have said it either way. As always, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. Please consider liking, sharing, and or subscribing if you have not subscribed already. If you are a subscriber, thank you very much. And that's going to do it. So until next time, happy gaming.